everybody. This is Lorena with Synergy Behavior Solutions. It is a hot day today, so we'll see how much I and Yoshi last in the sun today. So a lot of the time when I'm doing lives on here, I talk about kind of heavy topics or serious stuff, and I haven't done like a demo in a while. So I want to do something a little bit more light and fun today. And I think that on top of it being fun, it's not really just fun when we talk about fitness. Just as an aside, Yoshi here, hi, you know what I was about to talk about you, has been having some low-level medical stuff the last few weeks, maybe the last couple months. She's kind of just not feeling great a lot of the time, and I think that, if you are familiar with behavior and the way that we feel impacts our behavior, then that's made it a little bit harder for her to tolerate some of her most common distractions or stressors. And on top of that, there is a new dog that moved in just behind us, and it likes to come to the corner of the fence, and we can't see it, but oh, we can hear it. So, hi Laura, happy to have you here. And So she's been kind of obsessing over this new corner of our yard, and hi Anita, and her disengagement is struggling a little bit. She's just overall a little bit stressed. So with that said, I just want to talk a little about the management that I have. I have her raised bed here, and she is on a leash so that she doesn't go rocketing off to the corner of the yard to do some growly fence fighting with the neighbor dog. So she's just chilling on her bed, and I am trying to pair some distractions with hot dogs and giving her a little bit of management to help her be successful. So besides that, we also have already done a fitness training session this morning before we started work, so we'll see how she feels about demoing some rear foot targeting, but she does really like it. So, nice. So, when I talk about, oh yeah, I love this leash. It is a fully adjustable waist leash, so I can put it around my waist, I can make it longer, bigger, it's got like a bungee, and it has this nice handle right near the clip. You can't see that on screen, but you'll see it later, so that I can have more control if I need it. It is made by Roughwear. It's a great leash. So rear foot targeting is essentially your dog being able to intentionally place their back feet onto a thing. And usually this is a challenge because the average dog doesn't really have a whole lot of rear end awareness. And so dogs sort of just like, they see their front paws and then they just carry their hind end around with them. It's interesting if you start to watch a little bit about what rear end awareness does look like, you'll notice that some dogs seem to have more natural rear end awareness and more proprioception, what we would call body awareness, than the average dog. But most of the time, dogs do things like suddenly notice their tail or get scared by their own farts because they're like, I have a butt and I have a tail and I have back legs. So it's super, super helpful to teach our dogs that they have back feet and that they have control over them. Not only does that do really awesome things for tone and strengthening our dog's hind leg and their core, but it also is a really great mental enrichment activity, and it can make our dogs really tired in that awesome way of mental exhaustion rather than physical exhaustion. Yoshi actually, when I adopted her at about 6 months, she had carpal laxity, which is extra bendy tendons, especially in her sort of doggy elbows and doggy wrists. And she would walk around when your socks are wet and they flop around in front of you. She was like that as a puppy. And I thought she was going to be handicapped. She definitely is not, as you've probably seen. But her back legs are still a little wonky, and so rear foot targeting is a great way in her younger years to be able to try and stave off some of the potential effects down the road as she gets older. And it's just a fun, cool thing to do. It's very satisfying to watch your dog intentionally place their back feet on a thing. So I'm actually teaching a webinar fairly soon called Beyond the Walk, and it's a little bit about how we can find different ways to engage our dogs' bodies and brains. And so this is a little bit of a teaser for that, but also thinking about different activities and things we can teach our dogs that we can then take other places. So one of the most common and probably one of the first fitness activities or behaviors that I teach a dog is putting their front paws on a thing. And Jenna Harris, can't wait to see what River does when we try this. It'll be great. I think River's gonna love it. And so So I teach front paws on a thing, and then I work on can the dog like pivot around with their front paws on a thing, like a little circus dog. And rear foot targeting actually does a really great job of teaching a dog how to pivot. It wasn't until we really started to work on rear foot targeting that Yoshi started offering a pivot, which was pretty cool. If you're interested in doing like obedient style heeling, then a pivot is super important, and rear end awareness is really important. So the cool thing is now Yoshi will start to offer her rear feet on stuff, and that's a really fun thing to observe, and it's a really great way for her to have a selection of behaviors to pick from when she is feeling stressed and wants to cope with something. So I don't just do this for fun and fitness, I really do it especially as a reactive dog who often acts before she thinks. Teaching her different ways of being aware of her body and how to use her body really contributes to her being able to make other choices in the face of a stressor. When is your webinar? I'm pretty sure it's like in a week and a half. If you check on our website, you will see, it's called Beyond the Walk. I kind of have like a 3-part, try and do this like 3-part yin yang and have your dog have an enriched, balanced life. That's the notion. But there's like 3 different activities we're going to talk about to engage brain and body. So I'm going to show you a little bit of just how I have been doing rear foot targeting with my dog and how I have taught other dogs how to do it. There are tons of different ways to teach this, so I am not saying that mine is the best way or the only way by any means. So this is just one way that has worked for me and for some of my clients and students. And it's the one that has worked for both of my dogs to get them to get it to like click in that moment when they're like, oh, you mean you want me to do this? And then we can have a big party. So I will usually start this behavior with like an easy object. So ideally not very high up off the ground and something that the dog is fairly familiar with, but I want it to be a different texture than the surface. So I have 3 objects here, and I'm going to start with this yoga mat, and I'm just going to show how we are going to start the behavior of I like to heavily reward in position. So I get my dog into the position and then I rapid fire reward so that they learn that there's a ton of value in whatever the situation or position is that they have, and then we repeat. So I'm going to show you what it looks like to start. Obviously Yoshi has already done quite a bit of this, but I'm going to start as if we were starting at the beginning. Hold up, your treat holder, that's fantastic. What is it? I need it. So this is the, I believe it's called the Good pouch, and they're actually based out of the UK. It is silicone, and you can put it in the dishwasher. I love it. I did buy it in the UK, but I'm not sure if they ship internationally, but I will drop the name of it in the comments. My friend Laura Bradshaw is a trainer in the UK, and she is the one who sold it to me, so I'll see if I can get it on there. It is a really great treat pouch. You can put all the smelly things in it, and it doesn't smell. Alright, so we're going to try and just start with a little bit of basic rear foot targeting. I'm just going to reward in position and kind of narrate some of what I'm doing. And then we'll show you some of the more sexy stuff. Alright, ready? Okay, so I'm just going to start by luring Yoshi into position by asking her to come and positioning both of her back feet onto the thing. So by positioning her back feet on the thing, I am just rewarding rapidly in position as she stays, and then after I've done a few reps of this, I'm just luring her. She's just keeping her feet on her back feet on the yoga mat and her front feet off. Really high rate of reinforcement here, and then I start. Ooh, that's a tough one. Let me get that out for you. Come here. And then I start by just asking my dog with a lure to come a tiny bit forward. So I have my hand, I'm looking for that nice little stretch. Ready? I want her to stretch her legs, but keep her back feet on the mat. This way. There we go. Okay. So then I'm just going to lure her forward a little and see that nice back leg stretch. That's what I want. And then when she shifts back, I'm going to mark and feed. So she's getting that nice little weight shift. And that weight shift is what we are going to, is what we are going to turn into a step backward. Your positioning can be side or in front. I actually usually am in front. Nice. Of her, but because of the way the camera is set up, I can't really do that, but she's still doing okay. So nice little stretch forward, and when she offers a step back, nice. You can see how distracted she is. She's very rarely that distracted when we are directly training. She's just been having kind of a hard time recently. Nice. Nice. And I'm just waiting for her to offer that weight shift. And for a lot of dogs, like for her, it's quite dramatic, that backup. But most dogs will not offer a dramatic backup. It's just a slight shift backward, and you're going to mark and feed that heavily. Nice. Oop, break. If she sits, I'm going to go ahead and release her and see if she comes back and chooses to keep participating. Normally, your dog won't sit, especially if you're standing nice in front of them. Nice. Like this. And stretch. Nice. So we're just capturing any of that backward motion. And now I'm going to show you what it looks like when we start to add a little bit of height. So I'm actually going to use her raised bed here. And she's pretty familiar with this object. So my goal here is to set up the same situation, and I always just use a handful of treats to make it easy for her. Here, let me steal that. To make it easy for her to access the treats and for a high rate of reinforcement. So see, I just lure her with her front feet off and her back feet on, and then we're just going to do a little bit of a stretch. Nice. And when she shifts back like that, I'm going to mark. Nice. Your dog probably won't step back up like that. That's something that she has practiced a lot. There we go. There's that stretch that I really want to see. Yes. And even just that is like really awesome stretch and fitness for your dog, especially if you have a dog that runs a lot. Like if you want to break? It's a lot of work for them, so make sure they get breaks. If you have a dog that like goes running with you or chases a lot of balls or does fly ball or agility or anything, even dogs that play hard at the park or at daycare, this is a really, really great stretch for your dog. Paws up stretch and back paws up, front paws down. Really great way to stretch those hocks. Oops. Nice stretch, and then wait, and she steps back. And so after you've gotten a pretty good stretch, you can start seeing if your dog will lift their back feet off of the object and then place it back on. And when they do, have a big, giant party. Nice. Good girl. And remember, we always go back to feeding and rewarding in position. Okay, take a break. She's already done a ton of this today, so she's probably already a little bit sore. I'm going to show you one more that's like her like highest level of like awesome rear foot targeting right now, so you can see kind of where you can take it. Eventually my goal would be to her to actually be able to do like a paw stand. Like I want her to be able to do rear feet targeting on a wall, so we can really get some like nice shoulder strength and just some really cool photos. But ultimately my goal would also be able to generalize and put this on cue, so that out and about, instead of just offering 2 paws on as a nice stationing behavior or an alternative behavior when she sees a trigger in her environment, now she can offer rear feet on. So having said that, here's just a little demo of where she's at with her fancy little step stool. You clearly do not need, this is her offering 2 paws on. It's definitely a favorite behavior of hers. Highly recommend you teach this before you teach rear foot targeting, because it is a great way to start learning what it's like to lure behaviors and to put these kinds of, you get to ring, there we go, ready? And to put these kinds of behaviors on cue. Here, I'm gonna turn it around. Try and get it in the frame here. Okay, so I'm gonna start again. For safety, I like to make sure that she's set up properly, and then get some nice, you are very tired. There you go. So now I want to see if we can get her on this nice little incline. And again, just rewarding heavily in position. Over and over, and then maybe a little stretch. And then she can place her foot back up like that. And so our ultimate goal is then can you back up onto the object? Good. All right, back on your bed. Can you back up onto the object and be able to seek it out with your back feet? And each level of difficulty, if I increase the difficulty of the target, I'm then going to go back to level 1 and build up her strength, because this is hard work. You can see how tired she is, and we did maybe 4 minutes of this, probably 3 hours ago almost. And so today, each day we might do, if we can think of like 3 times a week, I might do 3 to 5 minutes of rear foot targeting, and you build up your dog's strength and proprioception pretty darn quickly. It also is exhausting to them, which is awesome. If you can do 5 minutes of fitness training, whether that's teaching your dog to wrap around objects back in, left and right, or putting their paws up on something and doing a little bit of rear foot targeting, 5 minutes of that, and you have a dog who's earned most of their dinner and is like probably ready to chill out or maybe even go for a calm walk. So really great activities to do before potentially stressful events to get their brain and their body a little bit tired and to engage a little bit of that extra energy. So I am a huge fan of activities that are not over arousing but are tiring in a good way for our dogs. So I'm really trying to find what those are, and if you would like to learn more about them, you can check out my Beyond the Walk webinar that's happening in a couple weeks, where I will be talking about these kinds of things: fitness, scent games, and like nose work and snifaris, and various other topics of ways that even just in your average neighborhood where you tend to go for your daily walk, you can kind of like amp it up and really engage your dog's potential, because we need to find what's reinforcing to our dogs and let them use their amazing brains and bodies. My dog is capable of incredible physical feats, and she has demonstrated that time and again, but I want to make sure that she's doing those in appropriate and safe and fun ways, rather than explosions of energy after a ball endlessly until her body breaks down, or chasing things she shouldn't be chasing, like squirrels and other dogs. Or playing really hard. She's a pit bull, and when she does play with other dogs, it's very scary to watch. So short sessions of that and lots of building up her physical body. Jenna says, I love this. We stopped doing the check-in and running, and I've been wondering what it should be doing for fitness. We'll see you for your walk webinar. Awesome. Yeah, I think River is a really great example of a dog who would benefit massively from fitness training. Even just a few minutes a day of getting him aware of his body is going to make a big difference for his brain, for sure. It is a good option for him. Lovely to see you all. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of Yoshi's somewhat tired, somewhat distracted rear foot targeting, and I hope to see you again next Thursday. You will see Sarah on Tuesday. I believe she is talking more about kayaking with dogs and some other elements around that. So if you missed that, you should check it out this week. On Tuesday, she did a webinar on kayaking with dogs, because she's been taking her dog Lindy out and having an awesome time. So how do we do that safely and in a good way for our dogs? Have a lovely day. Bye.